Welcome to the Erudite News Hour, MTM TV's news magazine. I am Kerika McGregor-Clue. Coming up in the news, Canadian police arrest and assault Freedom Convoy protesters. 11 missing after fire ravages ferry off Greece. Bible prophecy being fulfilled. Illinois Circuit Court awards over $374,000 in attorney fees to Christian nurse forced to refer women to abortion services. The Euphrates River in Syria is drying up. Christian doctor sacked for refusing to call transgender woman she. We go right now for a short break, but stay tuned. The news when we return. Welcome back. Police in Ottawa have begun arresting protesters and towing away vehicles in an effort to break up the so-called Freedom Convoy that has paralyzed Canada's capital for weeks and prompted the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to invoke emergency powers. Truck horns blared as hundreds of police, some carrying rifles, others with riot shields and gas masks, moved in on a protest camp near Parliament Hill on Friday morning. Scuffles broke out when officers detained a number of demonstrators, leading some away in handcuffs. Warnings blared from police loudspeakers. You must leave. You will be arrested. Ottawa police issued a stark warning on Twitter. Demonstrators, you must leave. You must cease further unlawful activity and immediately remove your vehicle and or property from all unlawful protest sites. Anyone within the unlawful protest site may be arrested. As the day progressed, more and more trucks gradually left the blockade. Large tow trucks also arrived near the camps as police arrested drivers and took control of vehicles. Pat King, an influential convoy leader, was arrested during a Facebook live stream on Friday.
Counseling to commit the offense of disobey court orders. Could you please step out of the vehicle, sir?
I'd like to get my lawyer on the phone right away.
Sir,
I have the right to a lawyer?
Of course you do.
Yeah, so I'd like to call my lawyer presently at this moment in
Sir, I need to
time.
make sure everything's safe, so
Oh, you're safe, man, and you always have been. I'm being arrested by these officers right now. This officer here, they've cornered me, had me at the ready, and I'm being arrested. We'll talk to you guys soon.
The demonstrations initially focused on a vaccine requirement for truckers entering Canada, but some protesters' demands escalated to the repeal of all COVID health measures and even the toppling of the Trudeau government. On Monday, Trudeau became the first Prime Minister to invoke the Emergencies Act, granting his government sweeping powers to bar gatherings in certain locations, tow away vehicles, suspend driving licenses, and freeze bank accounts. Meanwhile, rescuers boarded a burning ferry off of Greece and freed 2 truck drivers stranded inside the vessel for more than 15 hours, but hope faded for 11 others reported missing. The team descended from a helicopter onto the ship on Friday through thick clouds of smoke to eventually locate the 2 men inside the Euro ferry Olympia who spent hours on a parking deck desperately waiting for help. The cause of the blaze was unclear. The Italy-based ferry company said it started in a hold where vehicles were parked. I thought death had come for me, Albanian truck driver Zef Lufi said after his rescue. There was so much smoke. I thought we would make it. It took us about an hour and a half before we got into the lifeboats and about 3 more hours before we were picked up. The rescued passengers, many wrapped in foil blankets, were all transported to Corfu, where 10 people were hospitalized. None were in serious condition, and most had breathing difficulties. And in other news, chilling footage from a security camera filmed on February 7 shows the moment hundreds of blackbirds die and fall from the sky in Chihuahua, Mexico. Disturbing images show bird carcasses strewn across the street in the city of Cuauhtemoc. The cause of their death remains unclear. It mirrors a similar incident in Wales last week with some 200 birds found dead on a country road between Waterson and Hazel Beach in Pembrokeshire. A witness reported hearing a loud bang before 7 or 8 starlings fell onto his car. Bird expert Dominic Cousins said, "It's very odd. It's very strange. It's not something that's easily explained. Thousands of dead fish have been observed along the riverbanks of the Parramatta River. Officials were collecting water samples and water monitoring was set to continue." The spokesperson said it was distressing to see a significant number of fish had been killed and a variety of species were affected. Is Bible prophecy being fulfilled? Zephaniah 1 verse 3 says, "I will consume man and beast. I will consume the fowls of the heaven and the fishes of the sea and the stumbling blocks with the wicked. And I will cut off man from off the land, saith the Lord." While we ponder on this, we go for a short break. More in the news when we return.
On this program, how to overcome is the central theme, the narrative, as it were, of this program, Overcoming. And we are basing our facts biblically. So my point of reference will always be, the majority of times, in the Bible.
Continuing in the news, Sandra Rojas worked as a pediatric nurse for Winnebago County Health Department for 18 years. In 2015, she was told that she must issue abortion referrals and abortion-inducing drugs to pregnant mothers. Rojas refused, saying her Christian faith prohibited her from participating in abortion services. She resigned from her position and filed a lawsuit against the county, stating that the orders violated her freedom of religion and freedom of conscience rights. Alliance Defending Freedom served as co-counsel. They stated that healthcare professionals should not be required to violate their conscience to keep their jobs. Thankfully, Illinois has laws that protect a healthcare professional's right to not participate in the provision of medical services which violate their conscience. Circuit Court Judge Eugene Doherty issued an attorney fee award of $374,104. The health department improperly discriminated against Rojas by refusing to accommodate her objections of conscience in her existing job at the clinic, the court wrote in its ruling. The court has concluded that the health department could have reasonably accommodated Rojas's objections without removing her from her job. Her counsel is hopeful that this case will send a clear warning to employers about the importance of honoring someone's religious beliefs. Nurse Rojas's case set significant precedent and now stands as a seminal case under the Illinois Healthcare Right of Conscience Act, they stated. The court's fee award will hopefully encourage other public and private healthcare employees to respect their employees' rights of conscience. No American should be forced to refer for abortions or assist patients in accessing abortive patients, least of all medical workers who enter the profession to follow their faith and save lives, not take them. The court's decision is a win for all healthcare professionals throughout Illinois. Moreover, the drying up of Euphrates, Syria's longest river, is raising concerns as the demise of the water body could lead to a humanitarian disaster in the country. Millions of people in Syria are losing access to water, food, and electricity. More than 5 million people in Syria directly depend on the river. Khalid Al-Khamis, a 50-year-old farmer from Rumelie in Alep province, was financially affected when a creeping drought hit his land this year. We're thinking of leaving because there's no water left to drink or irrigate the trees, Khamis told the media. Even Iraq faces the same situation. The loss of access to water from the river and drought threatens at least 7 million people. The drought in both countries has been the worst in recent years. Syria has received 50 to 70% of normal rainfall over the past 2 years, threatening 5 million people. People in Syria and Iraq are directly dependent on the Euphrates. And finally, Dr. David Macaret's Christian beliefs are being coerced and threatened in a bid to affirm the increasing number of patients who identify as transgender. The 56-year-old and A&E doctor with 28 years experience was sacked as a medical assessor for the Department of Work and Pensions after refusing to identify clients by their chosen gender instead of their biological sex. An employment judge argued that his biblical beliefs were not protected by the Equality Act and were mere opinions. The ruling stated, belief in Genesis 1:27, lack of belief in transgenderism, and conscientious objection to transgenderism, in our judgment, are incompatible with human dignity and conflict with the fundamental rights of others, specifically here, transgender individuals. Ahead of the hearing, Dr. Macaret said,
The answer is I don't believe that a person can change sex. I don't believe a person can change gender and that sex and gender are the same thing.
Do you understand that that makes you a bigot?
Well, the Bible tells us that God has made us male and female. He made us for his own glory. If I'm a bigot, then the whole of Christianity throughout history is bigotry. I don't believe that. I believe Christianity is the truth of God.
Dr. Macaret said, my case affects everyone, not just me and the Bible-believing Christians, but anyone who is concerned by compelled speech and transgender ideology. The judgment from 2 years ago said to Christians, you have to believe in transgender ideology. That is totalitarianism. It made out Christianity to be nothing, the Bible to be nothing, that cannot be allowed to stand. Now to end the news, a quick recap of the main points. Canadian police arrest and assault Freedom Convoy protesters. 11 missing after fire ravages ferry off Greece. Bible prophecy being fulfilled. Illinois Circuit Court awards over $374,000 in attorney fees to Christian nurse forced to refer women to abortion services. The Euphrates River in Syria is drying up. Christian doctor sacked for refusing to call transgender woman she. Stay tuned with us. Coming up, it's Miss Jenny Campbell with our news commentary and Dr. David Carr with our health and wellness segment.
You are watching MTM Television, the Caribbean's largest Christian television network, taking truth to nations. Keep watching. You'll be blessed.
Welcome to this week's news commentary. I'm Jenny Campbell. Now, rivers are vital to life. They supply water for domestic and other purposes. They support agriculture and power electric plants worldwide. They are also the source of food and transportation. Rivers are blessed creations. Many times, true prosperity, wealth, and blessings are symbolized by flowing rivers. Jeremiah 17:7-8 reads, "Blessed is the man that trusted in the Lord, and whose hope the Lord is. For he shall be as a tree planted by the waters, and that spreadeth out her roots by the river, and shall not see when heat cometh, but her leaf shall be green, and shall not be careful in the year of drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruit." When God created the earth from the Garden of Eden, he designed 4 rivers, covering the full scope of the location. The Euphrates River in Syria was one of them. The Euphrates River allowed for the growth of some of the earliest civilizations known to man. The wealth of water supplied by the Euphrates River and the corresponding fertile agricultural land surrounding it fostered some of the earliest agricultural settlements in the earth. The drying up of the Euphrates River, as reported in the news earlier, is of grave concern, as this could lead to a humanitarian disaster in Syria and other countries that depend on this major waterway. Millions of people are losing access to water, food, and electricity. Some are blaming climate change for this demise of this very sacred river. But the Euphrates is much more than what it seems to be today. That body of water was a landmark when God promised lands to Abraham. It is mentioned several times as the gathering place of the armies of Israel when David went to war, and it was a symbol of the sovereignty of King Solomon. Again, it is mentioned as a significant signpost, this time in relation to the second Exodus ahead of the second coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. Let's look at Isaiah 11:15-16. It reads, "God will once again dry up Egypt's Red Sea, making for an easy crossing. He'll send a blistering wind down on the great river Euphrates, reduce it to 7 mere trickles. None even need to get their feet wet. In the end, there'll be a highway all the way from Assyria, easy traveling for what's left of God's people. A highway just like the one Israel had when he marched them out of Egypt." The signs of the times are very clear. Pestilence, wars, rumors of wars, earthquake in diverse places. The drying up of the Euphrates River is a significant signpost that the return of the Lord is nearer than we think. Are you ready? Thank you for joining me on MTM's commentary this week.
Welcome to another Health and Wellness segment. Hi, I'm Dr. David Carr. So health and wellness is not all about nutrition and physical activity. Sleep is also very important, and we don't talk much about it. Sleep's timing, duration, and quality are critical to our health. Sleep may play an important role in how our cells function in our bodies, our emotion, or performance in everyday tasks, memory, brain recovery processes, and learning. Because of the importance of these functions, sleep should be viewed as being as critical to our health as we always talk about nutrition and physical activity. However, we don't put much emphasis on sleep. Therefore, on today's episode, we will focus on all things you need to know on sleep Because you know what I'm going to say already. I got you covered. So let's get into it. Studies indicate that adults need approximately 7 to 8 hours per night of sleep. However, according to studies, more than 35% of adults report getting fewer than 7 hours of sleep during a 24-hour period, and almost 70% of high school students report getting fewer than 8 hours of sleep on an average weeknight. Among adults, the reasons for sleep loss appear to be related mainly to lifestyle, so their work schedules or sleep disorders. Among adolescents, insufficient sleep is associated with greater use of social media technology. Insufficient sleep has major health problems in adults, adolescents, and young children. According to research, strong evidence exists that among adults, insufficient sleep has significant effect on numerous health conditions. For example, short sleep duration, less than 7 hours of sleep per night, and poor sleep quality are associated with cardiovascular disease, and cardiovascular refers to the heart and blood vessels, and metabolic disorders such as glucose or sugar impairment, which may lead to obesity, diabetes, heart disease, and hypertension. People who have short sleep duration are 1.48 times of greater risk of developing and dying of heart disease than controls in a study, and 1.15 times more likely to have a stroke. Children who experience short sleep duration are more likely to become obese than those who do not. Now, insufficient sleep also affects your body's ability to fight infections and development of mood disorders, and is associated with depression, memory and learning issues, and reduced quality of life. Adults who sleep fewer than 7 hours per night have greater difficulty concentrating, remembering, and performing other daily activities than those who sleep 7 to 9 hours a night. One major consequence of insufficient sleep is daytime sleepiness, which reduces alertness and causes slow reaction times, leading to workplace errors and medical errors, workplace injuries, impaired driving, and motor vehicle accidents. Now, according to a study in the United States of America, drowsy driving contributed to 100,000 motor vehicle accidents and 15,000 deaths. Now, after hearing all of that, we need to talk about strategies that you can use for improving your sleep. To improve your sleep, duration and quality is important, and it's important to be consistent in your bedtime and rising in the mornings. Maintaining an appropriate sleep environment, for example, a dark, relaxing, not too hot and not too cold environment is recommended. Avoid television watching before bed. Avoid using electronics or reading in the bedroom, and avoid large meals and physical activity before going to bed. Now, thank you for joining me for another Health and Wellness segment as we continue on the journey of obtaining, maintaining, and restoring good health. Please see my contact information on your screen, and remember to follow me on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Dr. David Carr, and on Facebook at Dr. David S. Carr. Send any questions you may have to my email address at drdavidscarr@gmail.com. Join us next time, and remember, God desires us to be prosperous and to be in good health, even as our souls prosper. Now stay tuned with us. Coming up next is Alicia with personal development trends and Camila with lifestyle and entertainment.
MTM, Dynamite Television for the
Personal Development Trends, where we encourage you to passionately and persistently pursue your purpose. This week, we'll be talking about time management. We will also look at the benefits of practicing effective time management skills. Time management is the skill of planning your task based on the time you have to work. These skills can help you prioritize items in your daily schedule that allows you to finish them on time. Time is an irreplaceable asset. It is more valuable than money, especially in today's fast-paced, overly competitive business environment. You can get more money, but you cannot get more time. Time management can take many forms, like using a checklist or a timer to track your progress throughout the day. Here are 4 benefits of practicing effective time management skills. Number 1, decreased stress. Learning to manage your time can reduce your stress levels. When you schedule smaller parts of your day, you can leave room for irregularities or issues that might cause stress. By using tools and planning techniques to prioritize your day, you can feel less overwhelmed so that you know exactly what you need to do. Number 2, increased productivity. Once you master time management, you'll be better equipped to finish tasks and projects more quickly, increasing your productivity. You may notice that you're completing a task in less time and stressing less about deadlines. By following a calendar, tracking deadlines in management software, or keeping a to-do list of impending deadlines will result in increased productivity. Number 3, streamlined decision making. Managing your time and making decisions about your schedule can build your decision-making skills in other aspects of your life. Time management allows certain decisions to be made simply and quickly because you've planned for them ahead of time. The process of making decisions in advance can improve your abilities to identify priorities and what actions need to be taken. And number 4, the big one, practicing time management can boost your confidence through positive self-reinforcement. When you complete a schedule of tasks or a small list of goals each day, you can feel satisfied by accomplishing small tasks and become more confident in your working abilities. When work is going well, you can feel more fulfilled by the work you complete because doing each task feels like accomplishing a goal. So in the final analysis, will you agree with me when I say that time management isn't really about managing time at all? It's about managing yourself. We all have the same 24 hours each day, but how well we use them is completely up to us. So be sure what you spend your time on and where it matters the most. On the screen are some time management tips. Set goals correctly. Prioritize wisely. Set a time limit. Set breaks between tasks and plan ahead. Thank you for joining me this week. We hope that you found the information to be quite valuable. For more personal development trends and insights, feel free to visit my website at millionairebeauty.com, where you will also learn more about our outreach arm, the Beauty of Growth. It is a personal development initiative for the nation's youth. I'll see you next week.
Welcome to this week's lifestyle and entertainment segment. I am Camelia Kelly. This week, we will be bringing you highlights from the Jamaica Youth for Christ's 75th anniversary church service launched under the theme, Press On, the Journey Continues. It was held at the St. John's Road Church of God in Jamaica, and it was hosted by Minister Nadine Blair, the worship extraordinaire. And can I tell you, she not only hosted, but she ministered in worship and praise breakout at intervals.
Discover Jesus mission, check. Talent competition, check. Camp and sports rally, check. Rapid para meeting, check. Sports rally and Genesis, studio and movies, calling all the youth, yes. For Christ we can do this, reaching all the youth all across Jamaica. Press on with Christ as the journey continues on. We're gonna do some more. We made it. We made it all.
We have this treasure in earthen vessels. That's why we sing worthy to the Lamb of God.
It's just a simple chorus. It says, worthy is your name, Jesus. You deserve the praise. Worthy is your name. We say, worthy is your name. Can we lift that? Jesus, you deserve the praise. You deserve the praise. Say, worthy is your name.
And after singing Worthy, we know we need the Holy Spirit in our lives, in our homes, in our cars, and everywhere we go.
Holy Spirit, one more time. Come. Holy Spirit, come. Holy Spirit, come. Holy Spirit, come. Holy Spirit, come.
Where there is passion in worship, you can always expect the Gifted Hands Youth Ministries to be there. They reminded us this time around that life can get bitter, but we must always be better.
Life, it can leave you so bitter, 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 bitter. But you must believe that it gets better, better, better. Yeah. Life, it can leave you so bitter, 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 bitter. But you must believe that it gets better, better. Oh, it gets better, better, so much better.
To put the icing on the cake, the guest speaker, Reverend Dr. Stevenson Samuels, encouraged us from the life of Paul the Apostle.
When you look at this text, it's not like Corinth. It's not like the book of Galatians. You know, Galatians doesn't even start like the other books. From Paul start him a cuss out Galatians. From Paul start him saying a nag one with nothing good. But when you get to the book of Philippians, it's just a book of rejoicing. It's just a book of joy. In fact, right there in the book of Philippians, you see that 16 times in these four short chapters, Paul is talking about joy and rejoicing. Isn't that amazing?
If your church is hosting a special event, get us involved. Send us an email at mtmtv.admin@gmail.com and we'll share it here on Lifestyle and Entertainment. I leave you with the encouraging words from Reverend Dr. Stevenson Samuel's message. It matters not what you're going through. Let joy remain on the inside. You have a reason to rejoice. So, fill your life with the joy of the Lord, which is your strength, and have a feeling of gratitude. Thank you for tuning in on this week's Lifestyle and Entertainment segment. You'll be blessed until next week. It's back to the news desk with Karika. Thank you for tuning in with us for this week's episode of the Erudite News Hour, MTM TV's news magazine. On behalf of all of us here at MTM TV, have yourselves a great evening.